Steve and Jill here.
Good day.
Welcome to the Land Academy Show, entertaining land investment talk. I'm Stephen Jack Butella.
And I am Jill DeWitt, broadcasting from sunny Southern California.
Today, Jill and I talk about the power of habits. So I'm going through the grocery store line last week, maybe a week before. Mm-hmm. By the time this airs, it's the week before for sure. And the cover of the cover of either Life magazine or Tide magazine, which I didn't even open and didn't really look any further into, was called The Power of Habits. And,
really?
Because I was forced to have a bunch of time to think about this standing in a line. I'm like, this could be a show.
What if it was Us magazine, or what was like National Enquirer? Are you sure?
Because
are we sure?
I'm sure it was Time or Life.
Come on, Stephen. What were you really reading in line at the grocery store?
You know, I don't have any guilty pleasures like that. Do you?
No.
Do you read any of those magazines?
I used to. Now I really don't care. It's not like I don't care. It's like I don't know them. It's not as interesting. I don't know. Is that fair to say?
Yeah.
Okay.
You know, I don't know why, since you brought it up, that when I read the printed word, not so much in books, but like in a newspaper specifically or a magazine, I just have this gut feeling that it's exactly what the author wants me to hear, especially if it's like a local news. Mm-hmm. And it's totally skewed. Mm-hmm. And I could be, in the time that it takes me to read, let's say 1/4 or 25% of the article, I could have been on Google and I could have read
the whole thing.
15 points of view.
Right.
Very, very quickly. And usually they're smart about SEO, so I'm reading smart stuff. Mm-hmm. And so I just stop.
Right.
I just don't read. I feel too captivated and held in place by an author or a writer in a magazine or a newspaper.
I understand. I would like to point out that I'm very proud to say that the only time that I caught myself in the last 6 or 12 months reading about a Kardashian was because she's one of the youngest, if not the youngest. I don't even know the order. And she's an incredible businesswoman.
Oh, yeah.
She's like killing it. Like her online presence has launched her into her own makeup company, and I don't even know if I'm getting it all right, but it's just phenomenal. And so
She's
I'm only
merchandising.
reading. Well, yeah, and I'm like, so now I'm only reading up for that part. I'm like, all right, good for you, go girl, with your own business and being your own boss and that kind of thing. It's almost
impossible to have a conversation without that name coming up.
Wouldn't that be funny?
Even with incredibly intelligent people. I've always wondered what the hell they do. I mean, I don't want this to become the topic about this. At least they're like, there's a reason.
Let's not promote it anymore than we already have.
Before we get into the topic, let's take a question posted by one of our members on the landinvestors.com online community. It's free.
Marilyn S. asks, besides sending mail regularly and keeping consistent, what resource, tool, or process did you add to your business that accelerated your land business? And how did it change your business? Was it a particular automation process you added? Was it hiring a VA? Was it a CRM program? Was it a marketing technique you implemented? What was your game changer? This is a great question.
There's a lot of responses. And
yeah.
They're actually really good.
All right, I'm going to go and read. So yeah, it looks like a lot of members have weighed in. So I'll read some here. So Kevin wrote, Marilyn, the two biggest things for me were getting the answering service and paying for more advertising. My paid advertising tends to bring in more calls and better quality buyers. This helps me sell the properties a bit faster and for more money. I don't run a real high volume business, so I can't comment on the advantage of automation or using VA as much as others might. Do what you are good at and then outsource the rest. So then another member, Andy, wrote, 1, hiring VAs to post properties and remove after they are sold.
Absolutely.
Yep. 2, getting super organized with the CRM. I use Airtable.
Same here.
3, subscription with lands.com, and I list my properties on Luke's site, which is another one of our members. So just getting the word out there more.
more advertising.
Yep. 4, Simple File. He put a lot in here. This is great.
What is Simple File?
We use that online recording.
Okay.
Yep. I jumped
I thought it was called Zimple File.
No, it's actually simple.
Okay.
Yeah. It does. We say it like that often, and that's why you're getting it from. You're right. I jumped up to high gear at the beginning of 2018, and I've completed 309 deals since.
I mean, that says it all right there.
Nice job. That's a lot.
That's a bunch of dough.
That's a lot. let's just say average is even like, I don't know, $5,000-$10,000 a deal. That's pretty good. Probably higher.
There's two things that were absolutely earth-shattering and decisions that I made. One decision was made for me, and one I made consciously. That shattered my world positively since I started this whole thing. Number one, I got my butt handed to me in around 2011 by the market because we had a single channel of marketing, which we've changed. At about that same time, which is just a weird chain of events, Jill and I met and started working together.
I was hoping one was me.
And that was overnight, probably quadrupled our revenue. And it wasn't necessarily associated with the marketing. We just have different talents, and how Jill talks on the phone and how she gets property purchased and then resold for the right financial amounts just rocked my world.
Thanks.
So, get yourself a partner. That's my point. What's that old saying? 100% of zero, is 50% of a lot is better than 100% of zero. And that was I lived through that.
Thank you.
Do you have any?
I can't top what you just did. Thank you.
Today's topic, the power of habits. This is the meat of the show.
Don't worry, I have a lot to say here.
Okay, good. Good.
Do you want me to dive in?
Yeah.
All right. So here's what I was thinking about. Okay. I like how I love how you found this topic too. I think it's quite funny because I obviously wasn't there or paying any attention. That's what's so funny about us too is
Jill doesn't do the grocery shopping.
Not as much. And if I do, I'm just, when I walk around, I think this is one of the things that you really enjoy about me is I'm not as observant as most women. Like I'll walk over something and not really realize what's going on.
I love that you're
through it.
Not observant of anything. That's
Thank you.
why we're together.
Yeah, I can't smell. I don't remember anything, and I'm not observant. So there you go.
I win in all of those.
That's me. Exactly. Okay, so I was thinking about it, and I kind of broke it up on like the power of habits. I kind of think of it as in three ways. One is you have your daily habits. Two, you have your personal and lifestyle habits. And three, you have professional and business habits. So I thought I'd kind of give you like an example of each one and see what you think and see, if you have what you have to say about it.
This is a perfect example of what we were talking about in the question earlier. How you see this question and how you're going to answer it is diametrically different than how I wrote it and how I'm going to answer it after you.
Okay.
Which is good. I think it's great.
Okay.
You buy and sell dirt different than I do too.
Okay. All right. So here's what I see. I see we have daily habits. That's how much sleep you get. And that's, how you start your day. Are you ready for the day? Do you work out? Do you have a routine? Or is every day a jumbled mess kind of thing? That says a lot about you and sets the tone really for how your day is going to go in your business and then ultimately your life. So you really got to get a handle on that. I think it starts there. So then my second part is, your personal and your lifestyle habits. And I think of it like, is work first or is play first? You have to really think about it. And I know how we are. I used to be a lot of play. I mean, I used to have a set schedule where I'd work, and then flip the switch and goof off.
Before you're working for yourself.
Correct. Now that I work for myself, what's funny? Now that I work for myself, I kind of mix them together.
Yeah, me
if
too.
I need to, work always does come first at the end of the day, because I'm responsible for, we are responsible for not only ourselves, but we have a pretty good staff. And gosh, our Land Academy members, I'm not going to let them down. So that all comes first. But when I can mix in fun and play, oh, heck yeah. But you've got to balance that. You've got to find the right balance, and you have to know when to stop and say, all right, reel it back in. No, you can't go live on an island for a month and just, disappear. You can / however, things might suffer. You got to do this right. So that's that part of it. And then the third aspect is the professional and the business habits. And for me, this means how I run my business, what kind of boss I'm going to be, what kind of employee I'm going to be, how I interact with people. And then my core underlying thing, which this ties into a lot of stuff that's going on this week in these shows, which is doing the right thing. How I run my business. We talk about this often. We just had a situation the other day where, this seller would take any price. But I wanted to be fair and good and say, look, I want to really feel good. And I talked to my my team person about this at the time, and I said, look, is $500 going to make a difference to us at the end of the day?
No,
Heck no.
not even close.
Right? But for her, it means a lot. So I said, let's offer her this because it's just the right thing to do. So it's stuff like that, doing the right thing, and that carries over into. It's everything that we do. All of our Land Academy, everything from Land Academy to talking to people to our personal transactions, everything. So those are, and that's a habit. Because you know what? You could get in the habit of not being a good person. I'll go there for a minute. And you don't even realize you're stepping on people and you're hurting people and you're doing the wrong thing. If you get too comfortable there, please don't do that. Do the right thing, because it's a good habit.
So I think that habits, there's good habits and there's bad habits. That's two separate things. And then there's a whole separate thing about not having habits at all. And Jill really alluded to it all the way through. She just separated it into her lifestyle. But this was really for me just about work habits and succeeding and hitting your financial goals. So it all starts with setting a goal. If you set a goal in Excel and you want to hit it within 12 months, then you got to divide what you need to do by 12 and then further divide it by per week. So month by 12, week, I think it ends up being 4.2. And so I need to send out X amount of mail per week or per month or however you break it up. And I need to have all the systems in place to generally hit my financial goals. So that is setting up a system, and inadvertently, if you continue to do that, you're going to form a habit. I think the definition of a habit is like
30 days?
Doing the same thing every other day for 30 days or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, that we get charged for making things too simple sometimes. So that sounds really simple, but that's great. I've got 2 kids and all kinds of other stuff. So you really have to, the back end of that is you have to move other stuff around. Something's got to give.
I say be realistic.
And what happened? Yeah. What happens is, if you don't want to take it to that step and really move some stuff around, you just forget about it altogether.
Right.
And then you're in that land where you don't have any habits anymore, and your life is controlling you, and you're not controlling your life. You're not going to hit your goals.
Right.
Number 2, if you don't have a compliant people around you, whether it's your staff or your spouse or your business partner or whatever, or even your kids in a lot of cases, especially when they get older, they're going to stop you from forming these habits. Yeah. They're going to push your buttons somehow or steal your time. So no matter what you do, before you start any of this, you got to make a habit. Before you make a financial commitment to, let's say, even Land Academy, you should be a person that's already forming some habits or having some version of habits, or at least thinking about it. And that's a lot more boring than Jill's version, but it's necessary.
I want to add a comment about that second one, what you just said. If you use the word compliant, I like to say on the same page. It's funny how
spousal compliance.
Yes, exactly. I'm not sure for most men, if you set your or women, well, let's just say whoever it is, you set your significant other down and go, I need you to be compliant because this is what we're doing. It's probably not going to go that way. But if you sit them down and say, hey, I'd like to get on the same page with you, now that you have their attention.
Well said.
So thank you. So, but it goes to what you're saying about the habits. If I watched you, let's just say I watched you for a month, researching, doing this, doing something on this, really listening, like, sweetie, I know you want to watch a movie, but I'm really working on a thing right now that I think is really going to, get us ahead in life. And you got my attention, by the way. That's your new habit. I watch you not going out so much, and I watch you being serious about our family and our whatever, and setting those habits. You better believe when you sit me down and talk, I'll probably be compliant. I had to get that in there.
What I do every single day, this is a habit I have, and it's a really good habit I formed not that long ago in the scheme of my career. Every single piece of information that comes in, I have Outlook on my phone. And so if an email comes in through Outlook, or if I'm in a meeting, or Jill says some crazy stuff, even way after hours, I'm in there and I have a whole system about when I'll address it. Mm-hmm. And it gets into my schedule. So I wake up the next day, the next week, the next month, or the next year, literally I'm scheduled out that far on a lot of this stuff. And I don't, for me, this is so important. I don't stress about what's going to happen tomorrow because I just wake up and look at what to do. It's all in there in Outlook for me to, and it's all attached to the files and the filing system. And, you know, I don't care if it's something I really don't want to do that day. I usually put it up in the morning just to get it done. But everything gets done. There's nothing in my inbox. Jill, every once in a while, Jill's sitting with me and my inbox is on a screen and she's like, what the heck? Like, why are there 3 emails in your inbox? You know, those are the ones I haven't scheduled yet.
That's a whole nother habit, which is good.
I call it chasing zero. I want to get to the point where, you know, it's at zero. Like, we don't have any personal debt, so I won there. There's a lot of ways to form habits that work for you and sing to you to get stuff done.
Thank you.
Hey, we know your time is valuable. Thanks for spending it with us today. Join us next time for an episode called Infill Lots and Title Insurance.
And we answer your questions posted on our online community found at landinvestors.com. It is free.
You are not alone in your real estate ambition.
Compliance. So, compliant. Do you have a compliant spouse? Well, that's the funniest thing. I'm going to use that.
How often do I say stupid stuff like that?
Every day.
Not catch myself.
Just kidding.
And then you bite the inside of your tongue or something. Or do you just tell me every single time?
I don't. I really don't.
You should tell me.
I say silly stuff too. Don't worry. You're not alone. You're not alone in your...
In my silly stuff saying?
Yes. Wherever you're watching or wherever you are listening, please subscribe and rate us there.
We are Steve and Jill. Information
and inspiration
to buy undervalued property.